Welcome back to the, I guess, second Zoom official Past the Sticks recording.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. Thanks again for getting this set up, Kenan.
Yeah.
How are
So,
you and your bomb shelter there?
it's going well. Just staying at home, working out a lot, working. So luckily, my job allows me to work from home fairly easily. So it makes it pretty easy. Been about 3 weeks at home now.
Wow, yeah. I know I mean, on one hand it almost feels like the time has been flying. I don't want to like jinx it because I think we're still in this for a long haul, but I think given everything, I think a lot of people are like, "Okay, wow, it's already been a couple weeks. We can do this." I think especially that first week was probably the most difficult for a lot of folks. Just getting that adjustment, but we're going to get there.
Yeah, exactly. So,
One day at a time.
yep.
Yeah, well, we just, I guess, pre-show, we were talking a little bit about some different stories that are circulating. So I guess we'll kind of take this like we did last week, just not really round table, just I guess square table back and forth a little bit. Uh,
Yeah.
talk about that news. I mean, the first one I think is on everybody's radar right now is the Neuer situation. We touched on it last week a little bit. I think last week was when the Chelsea rumors and some of those like more outlandish things that started to circulate.
Yep.
Um, and for at least from my in the sense that I'm getting this week is it seems to be kind of classic negotiation tactics. Is what I'm getting the sense that Neuer's party, I guess his agent and his entourage, whoever's around him, pushing for that five. Maybe realistically, they want more of that 3 or 4 range. Is what I'm thinking, and they're just kind of like the old saying, like you go reach for the highest and then meet somewhere in the middle. Because I think Bayern was wanting to give them maybe about a 2. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'd love to get your thoughts on what you think is a fair deal. Because we have to remember too, he's got 1 year left on his contract. So if we're talking about a 2-year extension, that's theoretically 3 more seasons for him. So
Right. So his current contract runs out 2021, and Bayern has focused all of their negotiating um, currently on guys that are expiring 2021, minus Javi Martinez and Jerome Boateng. So obviously Neuer as the captain and best goalkeeper in the world has been a major factor. The biggest thing for Bayern seems to be the issue of you have Alexander Nubel coming in, and they don't want to have his Neuer's new contract last the entire length of Nubel's contract and have Nubel basically sitting there doing nothing.
right,
I can understand that to an extent, but I don't think Nubel's going to play over over Neuer. In
right,
fact, I wouldn't play him over Neuer at all whatsoever.
right,
It's just silly. So I understand that. I understand like that reservation there. He's getting older, but I mean, it's hard for Bayern to sit there with Oliver Kahn as one of the guys on one side of the table negotiating and say, "Well, no, you're getting kind of old." He'd be like, "Dude, you were 39 when you left Bayern. Like
right,
you were the
right.
starting goalkeeper at 39 years old. Don't give me that. Like 5 more years from now, he'll be like 36, 37-ish. Like,
Do you think? I mean, the sense that I'm kind of getting is the Newbold deal complicates this a little bit. I mean, obviously, right? But I know a lot of people are saying, "Hey, look, Bayern's not pressed to play Newbold. You didn't spend a dime on him." And I know that's kind of that could seem unfair to Newbold, but then also on the flip, he chose to come there. You know what I'm saying? So like, you don't have to guarantee him anything. You got him free. He chose to come. He knows that arguably the greatest goalkeeper of our generation, is a goalkeeper there and will continue to be for at least a few more seasons. So I don't know. On one hand, I guess it does complicate the situation, but then on the other hand, I wonder how much is Bayern even thinking about Nubel, and they're just thinking, okay, as long as Neuer's good, we're going to keep him as long as he's good. And then the question is, how long do we ride that while it's still beneficial?
right? Yeah, the cost benefit analysis of
Yeah.
similar to what we saw over here with the Patriots. You know, you get a guy who's been great, one of the all-time greats, getting older. When does that level of performance start to deteriorate and it's no longer advantageous to play him as your number one option?
Yeah.
Keepers last a long time, and I would ride Neuer for forever. The expectation being Christian Fruchtel will be given a long-term contract. He'll be loaned out to get first-team experience. He is the expected number one, even with Newble coming in as the guy to take over. I almost look at it as
But
Newble.
you're saying you think Fructose would still be second?
No, I'm saying that the that Newble's basically a stopgap.
Oh yeah.
To
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, then yeah, because I mean, got Swin in there who we will be gone.
yeah. Well,
um,
his contract also expires
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
I mean, but it does bring a interesting situation for Fructal because I've heard some rumors that he would be gone too. I know he is quite a bit younger than Newble, which is crazy. You know how young he is.
I
Um,
think he's
but
18.
you then wonder how long he wants to hang around. You know, if it's like, okay, we gotta get through Neuer, then we gotta get through Newble, then me. Um, so that does, the whole. It's complicated with keepers. You get the sense.
Right. Yeah, it's not something that you don't rotate keepers. You don't play more than one keeper at the same time. Obviously, like center backs or midfielder, like you have one, and that's who you're running with. You have a number one keeper, and you expect that that person is going to play unless there's an injury or a suspension.
Right, right. Yeah. But yeah, I think the deal is going to be done. Like I said, I just think it's going to be somewhere in between that ballpark, So he's
I'd
not going to
say,
get the 5. He's not going to get the 5 year, but I don't think that he's clearly not going to settle for, a year. I think I mean, it's going to be somewhere in between, if that makes sense.
yeah, I think we're both in agreement. 3 or 4 years is where it's going to be, and they'll write it out from there, sort of reevaluate with their other keepers. I would expect them to also extend a contract with Fruchtel and loan him out to get him some first team experience. He won't start, or sorry, he won't be the
Yeah,
number two over Newble.
I'm with you on that one. I think Fructal will be the one to get loaned out. I think Nubel will stay, at least for now. Then the question becomes: is it advantageous to loan him out, kind of to balance? Is it smarter for him to stay and train alongside the likes that he has at Bayern, gets to train alongside Neuer, or if it's more beneficial for him to continue to get first team football elsewhere? So
Yeah, my one concern, obviously, being that he is probably a little too good to be a backup. Um,
yeah,
he reminds me sort of the situation that Bayern had a few years back with Pepe Reina, right? He's too good to be a backup, but obviously not good enough to unseat Neuer. So, maybe he's there for a year as the number two guy and then gets loaned out after that, once it's evaluated as to where things stand.
exactly.